What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Bombs Over Providence. And once again, big shout out to Chris. And the next tune is May Cruise Missile Diplomacy Keep Us Truthful, Good, and Mild, which, the last part of it has sort of a Christmas carol type of phrasing. Obviously, cruise missile diplomacy is, a modern update of the concept of gunboat diplomacy that, we want to make a deal with you, but also we're strategically putting this large cannon right behind us to indicate what might happen to you should you not go along with what we'd like to do. So, it speaks to an asymmetrical form of political negotiation, often on the international stage, whereby certain conditions, perhaps more beneficial and advantageous for the gunboat or cruise missile possessing entity than for those, having the deal imposed upon them. So it speaks to the way in which, unfortunately, the way the world has come to develop and continues to be run is such that violence plays a crucial role, and even when negotiation and diplomacy are supposedly happening, it's often under threat of invasion or other form of, military level violence and hostility. So, it speaks to the way that perhaps people in nation states where their governments are the ones with the cruise missiles and the ones sort of enforcing some of these deals, they can sleep well at night because it's like, we made an agreement with this country. We didn't just, take over. We didn't just do whatever we wanted. We made an agreement with them. But, in reality, these are asymmetrical chords that speak more to the way that, again, violence is used as a threat to achieve material and strategic aims. So, in any case, let's find out what Bombs Over Providence has to say about it. Again, I'll try to catch what I can in the moment, and then once we listen, I will check out the lyrics that Chris has provided. So, let's listen. This is Bombs Over Providence. May cruise missile diplomacy keep us truthful, good, and mild. I'm assuming, sometimes the bass is such that it actually kicks out the chord. I apologize. Okay. And we probably back here. and Mild phrase. Interesting. I did not hear a lot of the lyrics. I heard bits and pieces, including, fire bombs and some things that did suggest we're talking military scale violence. But there were some other lines where it sounded maybe more like life individual based. So I'll be keen when we look at the lyrics in a second to see exactly what's happening. But yeah, sonically it was like, I don't think ballad is the right word, but it wasn't like a rip-roaring, like hardcore punk track. It was more like a sing-along, slower tempoed type of punk tune. So again, I don't think ballad is the right term, but it definitely had a little bit of a different flavor than some of the other tunes we've gone through in the album so far. And yeah, it's interesting. I did also hear the, Merry and Mild, or what was it, Mild, and I apologize, Luca. I have to get up and look at this now, so I'll put you right back down. But yeah, I did hear the phrase, what is it again? Good and mild. But let me quickly look up the lyrics. Okay, so the lyric, whoops. There we go. Okay, so the actual lyrics to this one are, okay, damned by the wars we wage, to a similar fate of the states we imitate, forgotten faster than Rome's walls came tumbling down. So right, the idea that, modern nation states, they still have this idea that we have to be this powerful imperial entity, and that shows what a great nation and what a great people we are, as if Rome didn't eventually fall precisely because it tried to control too much and expand too far and so on. Forgotten faster than Rome's walls came tumbling down, administering shock and awe with tsunami bombs. So I heard tsunami bombs. I had to mention, this is an old Tsunami Bomb album. This is a more recent one over here, which is kind of their original lineup, which by the time you get here, the singer had changed, and it was a different band that it started with, but they sort of come back with their original lineup. I actually haven't gone through that album. I've been sort of waiting to do it in this format. In any case, shock and awe, that was obviously a phrase used by the Bush administration for what they were going to do when they attacked Iraq because of Saddam's supposed WMDs. With tsunami bombs, never did stand a chance when I was floored at once by the 1-2 punch of benevolent terror. Right, we're going to do shock and awe, but this is all for humanitarian purposes. This is what I meant by dying. This is why I'm terrified of trying. If we just play dead, they promise they'll stop when we've had enough. But someone's got to teach the world about Texas-sized justice. I heard that Texas-sized justice line, or that phrase, but I didn't hear the larger line, so I didn't really know what to make of that. Don't mistake this regret for weakened heart. We're watching how it works and we're taking notes. What students we've become. Don't mistake this regret for weakened heart. Our repertoire of chaos and playing dumb. Don't think that we never saw you displace your mistakes at home. Buckle in, hold tight, listen up, and go preempt yourself, sir. Wow, that is quite the line there. One more turn for the peace parade with threadbare banners that we made. But if we want to take their ear, change the speech we use, cut it off, hold it near, and scream. Into darkened streets we pour, so easy to ignore. Gotta speak in kind to blood, bombs, and bottom lines. And that's just fine, because we've got the time. I'm sharpening my tongue now. That was another one that I heard. And although I figured it might relate to, speaking critically or caustically, I didn't hear what was surrounding it. I'll admit, some of these lines, I feel, into darkened streets we pour, so easy to ignore. Gotta speak in kind to blood, bombs, and bottom lines, and that's just fine because we've got the time. I think there's some perhaps different takes there, but it's a bit poetic or allegorical. It's
it's speaking to multiple issues, but in a sort of poetic way. We hang, we fall, singing last words under breath, but we hang, we fall, and the rope they used came right from us. Where's Nero with his violin now? I know to run, but I can't explain how. I've been looking for a way out of this one, truthful, good, and mild. Won't say where I went wrong. I am the least of any evil that you'll fight. Whom won't say when we've had enough. Won't beg when you silenced us. Our words will become fire bombs. Okay. As you wage your wars, I swear that's how we'll fight ours. So he's basically saying he's not going to be part of this. He's not just going to go along and, my government's, what they say they're doing and trying to be diplomatic and so on, even though they may have to engage in shock and awe tactics and so on. He's saying he's not going to accept that, and he's going to keep waging his war of words and letting people know what he thinks about that. So yeah, it does sound like a anti-war sentiment, anti-imperialist sentiment, and one that's more for the common cause of innocent citizens around the world. So once again, shout out to Chris for sharing this. It's a really cool album, and I feel like it's part of it is because I know they're Canadian, I suppose, but I feel like there's a lot of similar ethos to Propaganda. The sound, as I keep saying, is more Leftover Crack and maybe some other groups, but and again, maybe a hint of like 90s Propaganda. But either way, for some reason my brain just keeps linking them, and I think part of it is just because a lot of the sentiments, I think, are in a similar place as that most legendary of Canadian punk bands. So once again, shout out to Chris, shout out to my sleeping cat Luca, who is taking in everything we're saying but not necessarily commenting, and I will see you next time. Peace.